Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Beta 2022. Boy, it's been a minute. The last time I played Call of Duty Online Multiplayer would have been Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 days. I've taken a hiatus from all the online multiplayer since then. I didn't play Cold War, I didn't play Vanguard, I didn't play Advanced Warfare. I did run the campaigns of some of those games, but I never touched multiplayer once. I was quite competitive in Call of Duty Black Ops, the original, not 2, not 3, not 4. The original, the OG. I thought that game was freaking good. It took me a little while to get used to, simply because I put all my time and effort into Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Boy, that game changed my life. I would have been in year 9. Would have been around a 15-year-old kid. And I saw that game for the first time on my friend's house on Xbox 360. And boy, was I blown away. I still remember my facial expression the first time he shot at a guy through a wall. Holy shit, man. I thought, alright, I gotta find a way to go save up money for a PS3 and a HD TV. Because back then, we were still using a TV in the living room. My parents were all like, no TVs in the bedroom. Man, I remember it was revolutionary to me because of those things there. Having to go out, get the PS3, pretty much then have the PS3 sitting because I couldn't afford a TV. My parents weren't going to get me a TV. And then the TV I ended up getting had a bunch of dead pixels because I got the absolute shittest, biggest budget TV you could find with a HDMI port. And then obviously I don't have no car. So I've got this 45-inch TV that I'm carrying from the store for 2 kilometers, essentially dragging it. Then I thought, shit, now to return it because it's got dead pixels, I'm going to need to find a better idea. I needed to get like a trolley, and I ended up getting a shopping cart from a shop a couple of kilometers away, knocking that off, bringing it to my house. Anyway, bringing this TV back, exchanging it, getting a new one, all that headache. It still had dead pixels, and I just figured, man, this is as good as it's going to get with this piece of shit company that probably doesn't even exist anymore. And man, whatever. There wasn't too many dead pixels that it ruined the experience. That was something. And the internet, boy, running a cable, like a LAN cable from the modem across the house into my bedroom. I remember I got so much flack for that from my mum's, and then it all made it worthwhile. It made the internet so freaking janky that when she was working from home, it was an issue for her to do her job when I was playing. And eventually I just became loud and vocal and vulgar. I got told off so many times for telling people what I'm going to do to their mum, and them in return telling me what they're going to do to mine. Man, that was the golden age. It's never going to be replicated. But I figured with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and now myself having a PS5, pretty much having skipped Call of Duty Multiplayer entirely on the PS4 gen, yeah, I thought, okay, let's try and relive some of this. So, this is not really a comprehensive review, but this is kind of an outlook for a noob's perspective. A lot of people coming into this game will be, seasoned veterans, quite experienced. I'm sure they've played multiplayer. You listening to this right now, you probably played multiplayer on all of them, from Advanced Warfare, Infinite, Black Ops 2, 3, 4. Me? Nah, man, none of that. So this is kind of going to reflect the opinions of a person who's just jumping into Call of Duty for the first time ever, because I've just got these fond, vivid memories of a game that's so long in the past, man. It's almost prehistoric. But of course, to people around my age in the late 20s, they may agree that shit was the golden era. It set the golden standard. And I think in the back of my mind, it's something they've probably been trying to replicate since, while evolving on the game. But they just haven't been able to nail that experience that most people would have felt as the god tier of COD. So anyway, that's a little bit of my background. And with that background, I'll be able to make some comparisons where I think I can rightfully point out the game has taken steps backwards. Because after about 15 years, you really should have learnt what works, what doesn't, and what should not be implemented in the game whatsoever. And the first thing that I find is janky as all hell is the interface menu. I mean, it's a little confusing. It's trash even. And the reason I say it's trash, not because of the message of the day by the developers, which is the first thing that greets me advising me to buy the battle pass. And I'm going to digress for a second. That is a piece of fucking shit. If you want to fund the developers month after month for the life cycle of this game, buying janky ass visual cosmetic upgrades, I guess I'm going to call them, that take away from the feel of the game, that's on you. But when I say take away from the feel of the game, what I mean is I saw this prime example, Call of Duty Mobile. You're running around an OG classic map like Crash, which is supposed to be in like a present day modern warfare sort of setting. My brother's using an M4, and you got this fucking guy coming around a corner. You know, you kill him, he's firing lasers at you, you pick up his gun, he's got some bells and whistles, Christmas tree, fucking Destiny 2 revolver. And that shit just completely disrupts the flow and feel of things for me, man. I don't think it's got a place in a game that's supposed to be set in a present setting. Some of these visuals are just outright outlandish. The fact that fucking Ghost and Soap is back in here too, and you pay money for these freaking guys, I mean, they're dead. I don't even know what they're trying to do with bringing these characters in, and Captain Price has got some fucking gimp mask on his face too. Is that really necessary? I mean, the only thing that does is obscure your vision if we want to make this true to life. Now, yeah, fuck, whatever. Maybe that's not that important. But I just think it looks arcadey and retro and friggin' stupid how some of these characters are dressed and some of the crap you can get on your guns. Like I said, God tier Call of Duty 4. It was just simple. You saw a guy with Red Tiger, you knew he was a friggin' badass with that gun. And if he had a gold AK, unless he was doing a bunch of headshots in cage match, far out, man. He was a fucking OG. He was the top dog, man. That was something really cool and exclusive to have. Now you got these flashy ass revolvers, rifles, pistols, whatever. You can put little charms and gay bling on them. Man, whatever. You got a Gucci gun. It's fucking stupid. You paid for it, man. You got it digitally on your screen. And then I see this. Like, what's hot? What the hell is what's hot? The first thing I want to see, again, game modes. What can I jump into? Let me see the game modes now. Yeah, on the note of game modes, the game modes are pretty cool. Some of the ones that are completely friggin' new to me. I mean, third person, great. I can see what you're trying to do there. Make it a bit Fortnite-y, huh? And it's good to see hard points, search and destroy. They're all there. Thank fuck for that. We didn't change them or make them into degenerate messes. Prisoner rescue and knockout. I don't have anything against new game modes being in there because you leave the choice up to the player. Do you want to play them? Do you hate them? Do you not want them there? Well, whatever. They're not interfering with you or the game by being there. Feel free to get used to them and like them, love them, hate them, leave them. That brings me to a whole nother can of worms with this weapon unlock system. How you have to use these shitty battle rifles that fire single shots where you're going to be totally outgunned in any scenario, whether it's short, medium or long range. A dude with an M4 is going to clean you up 9 out of 10 times when he's coming around a corner at all those ranges. SMG, no problem, you're fucked if you come around a corner with a battle rifle. Yet the game is trying to push some sort of diversity of guns and variety that you have to use these things in order to unlock the next thing. What happened to the good old system, the tried and tested system of just leveling up to unlock a new weapon? Yeah, that's all gone. No, we're going to put that in the fucking back burner, and now we're going to do this diversified thing where you change receivers, and then by changing that, you're going to fucking unlock new levels. Yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher, that one, folks. I hate it personally. Encouraging the use of guns that are shit and poorly balanced, you're never going to see any sort of player wanting to use that sort of a weapon like an F-Tac or the Lockman 762 because you're going to get done in friggin' every time. And no, I ain't reporting anyone. I couldn't give a shit what you say about my mum, my dad, or how you like to fiddle the fucking goat. It's all good, man. In fairness to the game, those were some of the golden memories for me. How people just went off on the Bluetooth mic, myself included. I'm all cool with that as long as you're not cheating and doing some sort of freaking war hack. We're squared away. Now I'm going to touch on probably the most sensitive issue to date. what is going on with the freaking minimap? I don't understand what the point of a suppressor is anymore. A suppressor used to be something that you would use because you'd want it to mask the red dot that would come up on the minimap, the location that you were firing your weapon. Now the developers have come out and said, hey, we don't want players to be punished for firing their weapons. Now I'm failing to see how you're being punished for firing your weapon without it being suppressed. I mean, if you're firing, you're contesting a battle or you're killing someone. So effectively, you've either just put someone down or you've just put yourself in a position, or you're in a position where you're engaging in a firefight with someone where you have the outcome of, you know, fucking coming out on top or not. You're not punished. You're essentially doing the punishing. You've probably killed someone, or you're defending yourself for the objective. A suppressor used to have a trade-off where you'd have lower damage over range, lower bullet penetration, and you'd use up an attachment on your weapon. Now I fail to see any use for it, and I've basically stopped using it after getting to about level 20 in the beta. I also strongly believe the perks of Ghost and Cold-Blooded should be swapped around. They've taken the minimap and basically castrated it. I think it goes without saying that I speak strongly for people coming from the older generation CoD days in saying that this tranquilized minimap basically serves no purpose without running a UAV. Don't give me any shit about, hey, run the compass at the top of the screen. Who's even darting their eyes towards that? And if that's the purpose it serves, then why fuck with the minimap? If the minimap debacle isn't enough to throw you off, what they've got going on with the footstep audio is atrocious. It's way overcooked, and I am glad to hear that it has been toned down since the first weekend of the beta, but it's unreasonable to think that this is somehow balanced gameplay, especially for players who are keen on rushing. The footstep audio leans heavily in favour of the noob camper who can now hear your footsteps from half a map away, pre-aim and pre-fire and pop you around the corner. I think this will significantly reduce the chances of seeing clutch plays where one dude can take down 6 like I'm used to seeing in Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 3, hell no, throw that all out the window too. Now, one dude basically has no chance even going up against 2 remaining guys alive who have planted a bomb on the objective. One of the biggest things since the advancement of audio has been the issue of dead silence. Back in the CoD 4 days, dead silence was a pretty underused perk simply because, like I mentioned, most young kids, they weren't going to go out and buy a TV, the PS3, the game, and on top of that shit fork out like another $300-400 on a headset. Now I remember I played on speakers, so dead silence wasn't that heavily used, but now on a game where the fucking audio is cranked up to the point where you can hear a pin drop a mile away, someone's got to give, man, and I think players should be able to use dead silence as a perk, even if it's the last perk that they unlock. It shouldn't be a field thing, and the fuck is with the fact that now they've patched the dead silence to level 30 for players to use. It should be a field upgrade that you can use regardless of your level or class or perks that you're running. I know I'm not the only one thinking that it limits you to the amount of freedom that you have in the game, and it's definitely a disadvantage to players that rush not having dead silence readily available. Because rushing players are so heavily disadvantaged with the fact that it's limited to a field upgrade, those few seconds that you have dead silence available, you feel like this abundance of, hey, I got freedom now, I can play how I want and I don't have to limit myself to being a fucking slow crawling noob around corners. So to hell, pardon all the swearing and getting a little bit heated and animated about all this, but when you're paying the developers wages for the last 15 years buying these games, and now they've implemented all these battle passes where you can cosmetically Gucci out your character, players should be listened to, and not just a selected handful, but all players, noobs, pros, fucking alike. But instead, it seems like Infinity Ward are gonna go, hell no with any of that. We're gonna go with our selected, hand-picked, nit-picked fucking opinions of our developers who are so out of touch with what the game used to be like. We're gonna reinvent the damn wheel, and we're gonna go on and fuck it right up. Flipping tones for a moment, there are things that I do enjoy about this game. Things that I haven't seen before. I do like how you can mount your weapon on ledges and against walls. That's a pretty cool use of the cover system, and I can't take any points away for it. Visually, yeah, the particle effects, the sound effects, they are pretty damn striking, man. The grit you can hear in the assault rifle while it's pumping freaking rounds through the receiver sounds great. Bullets whizzing, fucking particles flying, explosions raging, and bodies getting torn apart by firepower. It might be a little over the top, but I see it in a positive light. I'm old school, so you're never going to see me running anything except for a frag grenade, but I do like things like the drill charge. Shit is gnarly. Search and destroy, going from 4 rounds like it was back in the day to 6. Domination games feeling like they're going for a little bit longer. All changes for the better. You got flashy map load-ups where you choose your class while you're in the chopper or in the van on the way to the battlefield. And that does add a sense of immersion, if that's your thing. It definitely doesn't take anything away. And the maps, yeah, fairly fun design. Farm 18 is definitely got to be a crowd favourite, but maps like the museum, man, get that shit out of here, especially for small teams like 6v6. However, some attachments are just downright pointless. I think there's like 20 different sights to choose from on an M4 or the other machine gun variants, and half the muzzle brakes just pretty much do the same thing with a slightly different aesthetic. If you've gotten this far, thank you so much for stopping by and listening to me rant for the last 15 minutes. There's just a few more things I want to touch on. The beta is definitely not lacking its bugs, and I'm sure while it's something the developers of 3000 strong are going to get around to, some things like this SAE not being able to be called in and my R2 button just ceasing to work and become critically disabled is a bit of a pain in the ass, especially when you're trying to use a pretty effective kill streak. I mean, just look at this thing. Without any rhyme or reason, it's completely jacked up. Try it a second time to no avail, and it's really discouraged me from using this kill streak in the future, simply because I don't think anyone else has encountered this problem, or at least I haven't seen it publicly mentioned. But if this is going to happen with other kill streaks that you can't call them in because of some sort of bug or button malfunction, which it can't be since I fucking fired the weapon straight after, I hope it's addressed. But it is nice to see that you can now choose which kill streak you're going to activate, which is something that definitely wasn't prevalent in Black Ops or Call of Duty 4. So yeah, my gameplay is getting pretty stale here towards the end, but it's emphasizing that I ain't a pro. I'm your average run-of-the-mill CoD player that hasn't played this game for over a decade online. I am enjoying it, but I've pointed out for the last 15 minutes all my pet peeves with this bloody thing, and the biggest shit in your face is probably the fact that Infinity Ward and the whole development team is just dismissing these popular opinions and critiques of the game's beta. I want to go out on the note that the lobbies need to stop disbanding after every single time you play a goddamn match. Again, another thing I believe that they've mentioned they're going to address, but the amount of times I've joined a match, especially in something like Search and Destroy, where it's already 2-0 and your team's getting their ass handed to them in the 3rd round, that's a tug on anyone's balls who sees their game through to the finish and stays even when their team's losing, only to jump into the next game getting your fucking ass handed to you again. Oh, and before I forget, adding attachments and editing the class midway through the game, I don't know where that notion came from, but seriously, piss that shit right off. I don't want to see any of that, and people are exploiting that feature too by accessing some sort of workaround to get attachments on the 74U. That shouldn't be such a complex thing to get attachments, and I've already mentioned how annoying it is to unlock certain weapons. I personally don't know if prestiges are in this game, but if they're not, that's a big mistake. No, you can't freaking slide cancel, which, yeah, I'm okay with that, but the fact that you can't reload cancel, that's another big freaking no. I've pretty much run out of footage at this point, and all of it was recorded in the first weekend. I think I did get a little better in the second, and they did fix certain things, but not enough to really touch on the second weekend being like, hey man, this is fucking mind-blowing, you rectified our biggest concerns. And yeah, why the hell is there people using mouse on the PlayStation? Maybe this is something that's been around since Modern Warfare 1, but again, play it on the PC if you got a PC. Why the hell is there a mouse and keyboard set up on the PlayStation? Spectating body cams, especially in Search and Destroy, a little innovative, a little out there, but no, I'd rather just the first person view. Enemies need nameplates because I can't see squat sitting a meter out. And devs, just run a little survey at the start of the game if you don't want to watch videos or read responses. So that's it. Now I've definitely summarized everything I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, drop us an ad on PSN, and we'll see you guys in the live game.